Hello lovelies and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts, ideas and our current toy rotation. So what is a toy rotation? A toy rotation is where you declutter, simplify your toys and then you put out a small quantity of toys for your children to play with each day. You can change up this rotation daily, weekly, monthly, whatever suits you. But the idea is that you're encouraging deep play, creativity and engagement with your children and their toys, as opposed to creating clutter, chaos and overwhelm, both for your child and for yourself. I guess there's kind of like two parts to the toy rotation. The first is actually to declutter your current toys, and the second then is to implement this idea of toy rotation. Recently I went through another declutter of our toys and it worked even better than it had before, and I'm really excited now because I feel like I've nailed the toy rotation and I'm seeing the results and it is so interesting. It really does work. I'm a mum to two boys as well. I personally think boys are a little bit different to girls in the way they play. Boys tend to be a bit more physical, they need a bit more movement, and in my case anyway, my boys definitely need help in settling down to engaged play. But like I said before, we are in a place where they can sit down now and play with their toys and they get so much more joy from this simplified down version. When it comes to decluttering your toys, here is a list of some of the things that you could look at removing. I think this is from the book Simplicity Parenting, which I really love and recommend. So broken toys, so anything that's missing parts, like if you've got a puzzle that's missing a part or a toy that's missing bits, definitely just get rid of it. It's just so frustrating for children. Inappropriate toys, whether that's developmentally, like it's the wrong age for them, or it's selling something, maybe a brand, or it's very commercialized, you might look at getting rid of that because that's really not your child's creativity, that's someone else's. But saying that, some children really develop a love for characters, and I've also done that in the past. I just find that the child plays with it once and then kind of forgets about it, but everyone to their own. Conceptually fixed toys. Okay, so this is the idea where you get a toy that can do one thing. I actually have an example of this out here, and this is one. This is like a posting pig where when you press it the little coins come out. So really it doesn't have much play apart from this posting action and pulling the tail. You couldn't really use this toy in imaginary play, it just wouldn't work. So this is a conceptually fixed toy. Now I do use this because my boys are going through a stage where they love posting, and this works really well at developing that sort of gross motor skill of pushing in the coin and then pressing the tail. And I got this on eBay, I got it secondhand, and it's actually been really good. So while I'm giving recommendations, obviously you can adjust this to your children, but once the kids are done with this, they will be done with this. It's definitely got like a best before date on it, I think. So also toys that break easily. I think especially for that toddler age, again, it's really frustrating if there's a toy that's really fiddly, or if you push it too hard it breaks. You want toys that are really sturdy. So for example, these lovely Holt's Tiger figures that are really chunky, they're made of wood, you're not going to be able to break them. Or even something like Duplo, which is really good quality and will last a long time. You could always hand it down to a friend or family member when you're done with it. High stimulation toys. So I actually don't really have anything that's high stimulation in my house, but you might have a toy that just makes noise after noise or flashing lights and it drives you crazy. I think it's fair enough to get rid of those toys. I don't think they really add anything to the kids' development, even though they're always advertised as helping with the kids' development. They're usually too busy, again, they're one-dimensional, and they're really annoying to listen to as a parent, so I think those you could get rid of. Ugly or offensive toys. If something doesn't suit your aesthetic or it offends you anyway, completely get rid of that toy, because that toy is part of your child's childhood, and childhood should be beautiful and stimulating in the right ways. And if something is just offensive, maybe it was a gift that was a bit like silly or something, but it really doesn't do it for you, I would also look at maybe getting rid of that, donating it. And then multiples. Multiples is actually quite a difficult one for me because I ended up getting lots of vehicles when the boys were into that, or I would end up getting like lots of posting or sorting games. And I realised that actually I had quite a lot of multiples out of my shelves. So I have removed all those multiples and just have one of each type of toy out, so that the child isn't just bored of looking at the same kind of thing again and again and again. So once you've done that and you've decluttered, you can either donate or give away those toys that you just definitely don't want in your life anymore. With the other toys that are just cluttering up the shelves, for example, like I said, if you've got multiples of something, you can just pack those away, put them in the attic. I actually just have some wicker bags which I put on top of my wardrobe, and that's where I have my toys that we're not using right now. This is an example of our current setup. This is what the boys are playing with at the moment, and what they're loving. So how I kind of chose these toys is I decided on using different schemas. So schemas are sort of like developmental stages that your kid could be going through. Examples of them, I wrote them down in my notes. I'll just read them out to you. So connecting, orientation, transporting, the trajectory, positioning, enveloping, enclosing, a rotation. So an example with rotation, that would be wheels, cars, tools, locks, that kind of thing. Enveloping would be hiding, covering, posting, wrapping. You kind of get the idea. So instead of having just one type of toy, like loads and loads of building toys, I have toys that sort of hit on different schemas. So for example, this one here is a really nice little puzzle. So there's two parts to this. You can remove the pieces and put them back in, but also there's a matching element which is quite good. And so you've got the tractor and the tractor. And also these pieces are actually quite chunky and could definitely be used in imaginary play as well. I think this is a big jigs toy, and I really like it. It's all wooden, really nice quality, and hits multiple schemas as well. So I like this a lot. Another thing that we have is a baby doll set. The baby is actually gone from this. The boys have taken it and playing with it somewhere else. But this is just a soft little basket. It's got like a blanket and a rather grubby bottle because the boys keep biting it. And it's really interesting because this doll was definitely never played with. It was one of those things that I bought because I really wanted to bring in doll play into the boys' lives, but I was sort of really disappointed. I was like, oh, I've obviously got this wrong, they're just not interested. So anyway, I decided to do my toy rotation, and I really culled it down, and I put the doll in the basket with its little bottle and blanket, and it has been the most played with toy from October's rotation, which has been amazing. So definitely those toys that you think are not getting any love, give them another go. So the boys love that. They love feeding the baby, wrapping up the baby, carrying it around, kissing it, and sort of, I guess, replicating a lot of the things they see me doing with them. So it's fantastic. I think doll play is really important for boys, so I'm really happy with that. Another example of what we've got out is blocks. These are plan toy blocks, and they've actually got little interesting things to look at, like mirrors, magnifying glasses, textures, and some of them have noises. So these are used in lots of different ways. They can sort of listen to them, look at them, and also stack them. So pretty good toy. I've also included the little bag that they come in, so they can put the blocks in the bag, and then that kind of helps with the enveloping schema as well. And as you can see, I've just got like one toy per shelf. Anytime I've put more than one on a shelf, I always regret it because I do think it just overwhelms the child. And a shape sorter, so that's quite a nice little toy for Toby at the moment. Then I've got some Duplo. So Duplo is great, you know, it's the connecting schema. They can build things, pull them apart. But as you can see, I have a really small quantity of Duplo. And this is one of the great things about toy rotation. Whether you've got a train set, Duplo, Lego, or whatever, you can put out a lot less of it, and you can see how they play with it. You can always add more if you want. And my boys are both quite young, and this is actually enough Duplo for them. There's a couple of the trains that they can put together, and a couple of blocks and a figure, and that's actually enough for them. So I've got a huge bag of Duplo in the cupboard to pick from, but they don't get that. They just get a small amount, so they're not overwhelmed. Also makes tidying up so much easier. On this very lowest shelf, I've got a threading cheese, which is a great toy. It's just like a little cheese, and then you've got a stick and you pop it through the holes and pull it. So that's a lovely game for the boys at the moment. And once they're finished with this, I'll probably put out like a bead threading activity. We've got a really nice Grimm's toy which has spools and a threader, so I'll probably put that out next to swap that one out. Right at the end here, I've got a really loved game, and actually this is so cheap to put together. What I have is an old tin. This is just a IKEA tin that had twinkly lights in it, and in it's loads of big sized pom-poms, and Toby loves this. He loves to open the little tin. He likes to take out the pom-poms. He's got a little zippy pouch here that he can put the pom-poms into, practice zipping, and he also has a little box that he can put in the pom-poms as well, and that's a really popular game, and he loves that, so that goes in one of the shelves. And then finally, just another homemade toy. This is a simple one that has got Velcro buttons, and then there's a little hole here, and then you just post them in, and then you can see them in the box. Now this, as you can see, is really grubby now because it's so well loved. The boys both love this game. They love the sound of the buttons being pulled off, and they love posting them and then seeing what's inside. It's really easy to make, cheap, and I'm always playing this with them. They love it. They request it all the time. I also have a spare box. This is just a simple empty box, really chunky, and again it's quite handy for hiding things in, playing, constructing, so I do find boxes quite useful. That's why I've got this here as well. I've got a Grimm's rainbow. This is actually half a big rainbow. I've just taken out, I think, 7 pieces, maybe 3, 4, 5, or maybe it's just 6. No, just 6 pieces. So this is half a big rainbow, and the big rainbow just wasn't getting played with. It was too overwhelming. So this is much better for the kids. They can explore it. They've both got such small hands that this is just a bit easier for them to grasp right now. I've got some Holt's Tiger toys. I actually have a basket of these though that I store on my other shelf, so I do have these. I'm sure you've all seen the Holt's Tiger toys before. We've got a pretty small collection of them. They're really cute though, and they're nice open-ended play. So I've got those, and I do actually, I'll just show you quickly, I do have shelves here, as you can see, and I've got a stacker here. This is from Wooden Story. It's really beautiful. And then I've got the Holt's Tiger toys, but these toys up here are actually out of reach for the boys, so they have to request them if they want them. And then down here I have a little trolley tucked away, and in it I've got some musical toys. I think music toys are really good for kids, and that's something I would probably have out every time. I wouldn't put those away because we kind of make time to do the music every day, do some songs. I've got really cool little finger puppets in here as well, like Humpty Dumpty and Incy Wincy Spider, so I use that as part of our kind of like learning. We've got a felt ball. This is a beautiful one. I think this is not Grimm's. I'll link it below, but it's a really beautiful heavy ball. And then I've got a bag of silks. So silks are fantastic, open-ended toy. They can do all sorts of things. They can use them to cover over their faces, play peekaboo. They can use them as a play mat. Like, it's just endless play. Rupert just loves rubbing himself all over them with them and enveloping himself. So they're really great toy. Highly recommend those. And then the last couple of things I have are just a couple of these DIY sensory bottles. So this one's a really heavy one, which is great for the boys to carry around and burn off some extra energy. And then we have one that we made quite recently, which has like loads of stars and things like that in. So just on the floor here, I also have a Green Toys truck. Toby loves trucks in particular, so we've got that. And I also have this game, which is really lovely. This is is that a xylophone? So you can play the xylophone with this, but what's really cool about this is you can hit the balls and it makes music. So that's one of our favourite games. We also use the balls all the time separately, and that's just a lovely toy that gets used all the time. So you can see I actually do have quite a few toys for the boys, but this is amazing, like how minimal this feels to me when I think about all the other toys I've got stored on the top of my wardrobe. And for the boys, this was just so much easier for them to play with everything. In fact, actually, if I had to change anything, because we've had this rotation now for I think about 2 weeks, I would probably cull down this area a little bit more, and I would probably just have the play silks in there, because I think any time there's extra toys hanging around, they just end up not overwhelming the children, but just not being played with, and they end up just everywhere. So I'd probably just cull that down a little bit more too. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and let me know what you'd like to see next on this channel, and I'll be sure to record it. So I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye!